Hello all! Today I'm going to touch on a disruptive technology known as the wristwatch. A disruptive technology can be defined as an innovation that creates a new market and ultimately disrupts the pre-existing way of doing things. Disruptive technologies can have grave impacts on culture and how we engage with each other on a daily basis. In this video, we are going to cover the evolution of the watch and then discuss the smartwatch and how it, as a contemporary disruptive technology, impacts present day and will potentially affect the future. First, let's cover the history of the watch. In approximately 325 BC, the water clock was invented by the Greeks. In 1275, the mechanical clock is invented by England. And then in approximately 1500, the clock watch is invented, followed by sundials, made by the Chinese and the Egyptians. In 1574, the pocket watch is invented, and then in 1656, the pendulum clock is first patented. In 1812, the stopwatch is invented. This is a timekeeping device used to measure distance traveled, and it is still used today for tons of recreational activities or even sports such as track and field. In 1812, the wristwatch was also created for Caroline Murat, the Queen of Naples at the time. In 1955, the Cesium atomic clock, which keeps time to within a few seconds every 100,000 years, is invented. In 1957, the electric watch is made. In 1969, the quartz crystal analog wristwatch is first introduced. And then the digital watch is introduced in 1972, followed by the calculator watch in 1975. And then the computer watch in 1980, and then finally the smartwatch in 2013. Prior to the invention of the watch, time was approximated by the placement of the sun. In modern day, it is hard to imagine not telling time accurately. As we say in the US, time is money. Being a millennial, I can't imagine a world without my smartwatch. I have been an avid user and consumer of the Apple Watch since they were first introduced to the public. I use my watch to tell time, navigate me to my destination when driving, to tell me when I've been sitting for too long, or even if I've met my fitness goals for the day. The smartwatch has gravely impacted how we engage with other technologies as well as with others. I use my watch to send quick messages, answer phone calls on the go, to unlock my MacBook, and to make purchases with Apple Pay. It's not just an accessory, it's a tool that I use to get through my day. I chose this technology because, like myself, many of my peers rely heavily on our smartwatches just as much as we rely on our smartphones. It's a part of our daily activity. It helps us keep track of the day through appointment usage and, like I said, mentioning like our fitness goals. So I felt that it was only fitting to include something that's sometimes forgotten and a little understated, but extremely vital and important. The impact the smartwatch has had on the masses includes making things more mobile and fast-paced. As mentioned before, being able to make purchases, have GPS navigation, track your heart rate, tell you when to stand to increase blood flow, are all a part of a long list of other features that creates a hand-free environment that is rapidly taking over society. Simple tasks are even more convenient than they were before because they require less thought and less physical activity. Things we would have considered a tad bit more don't require as much attention. This brings up the question of are we becoming too lazy for our own good? Now I have to be reminded to stand, or I have to think twice about how to get places because I'm constantly dependent upon my smartphone or my Apple Watch. Activities we would normally use to disconnect or unplug from technology, such as swimming or other physical activities, now involve technology because we use them to track our steps or our breaths per minute or just to log how active we were for that day in general. Now, while this can be seen as a negative, this can also be seen as a positive. Now, our technology pushes us to be more active or persuades us to use all of its tools and gadgets, forcing us to want to do more outdoor activities, for example. Disruptive technology can be both positive and negative, depending on how you as a consumer choose to engage with the materials. The smartwatch as a disruptive technology has both positive and negative ramifications, as do they all. If we were to consider the positives, we would focus on the fact that we can be more mobile, we can be more active, we can simply communicate more effectively with others throughout the day. The ability to track what we do, confirm appointments, respond quickly to messages, whether they're urgent or not, is one that we should definitely use and not take for granted. Now, the negative ramifications can include the fact that we're maybe less social, or in other cultures, they feel like it's a barrier between us and them. Another positive could be how, or I guess this could be a double-edged sword, how seriously we take time. As a society, we put a lot of pressure on being punctual and not wasting time and using all the time you have to the fullest. Now, while this can push us as a group to accomplish more and get more done in the 24 hours we have, this can also add unwanted and maybe unnecessary pressures to accomplish a lot while not really enjoying the time that we're given and soaking up every moment throughout the day. In the future, I do believe smartwatches will continue to have a grave impact on society and how we function and communicate amongst each other. I have faith that we will see more of the positive ramifications than we will the negative. I do believe the way we communicate and how effective our communication is as a whole will continue to grow and be better. I do hope that we will also continue to be as health conscious and grow in our wellness and health as a society. And I hope that as technology continues to advance and as the smartwatch becomes more and more dynamic, we find ways to make the features work for us in a more positive way than in a negative way. We can all stand to use a little help with getting through our day effectively as long as we can find the healthy balance between how we're engaging with technology and how often we depend upon technology to accomplish those tedious tasks throughout the day. And in regards to the negative ramifications that can be experienced or seen from this disruptive technology, I believe it's all a personal choice to a certain extent. For example, as a parent, you can decide how often your child engages with a certain technology just as you can for yourself. And if you see that maybe I'm too heavily dependent upon my smartwatch to get certain things done, you can make the decision to fall back with how heavily your usage is. So, thank you all so much for listening to me drone on and on about this disruptive technology. I hope you all enjoyed learning as much about innovation as I did, and have a great summer.